Hey, what's up, Northlands family? My name is Stephen Murray, and I'm excited to share with you a testimony about how the Lord met me in a great time of need and carried my burdens. So this time last year, my company was in just a lot of distress due to COVID and the COVID restrictions. We just saw sales just get cratered. We've always been a fast growth company that has grown year after year, and for the first time in our almost 20-year history, we just couldn't generate any revenue due to the restrictions. And we've had a big workforce, and because of some of the criteria around government aid, we did not qualify for it. So when you don't have revenue, you have to cut expenses, and that meant having to cut some of our very beloved team members who had been with us for many of which for 10 plus years and were close friends of mine and many others. And leading up to that last summer, I just was carrying this enormous weight that was crushing. I was having a hard time sleeping, some anxiety and stress that I've never felt before. And, my theology is strong in that I believed, in my head at least, that God was bigger than COVID and bigger than my company, and that my identity was not in my work. At the same time, I was not feeling that, because at the core of it all, I felt like a failure. I felt responsible for these decisions. And ultimately, it was just beating me down, and the enemy was beating me down. And through the nudging of my wife, who the Holy Spirit uses very often to speak to me, I just got really real with God, really real about what I was feeling, my disappointments, my frustrations, and just really laid it at His feet. Didn't know what He was going to do with it, but I just needed Him. And in the span of about a day or two of doing that, of just crying out to God, He rushed in, the Holy Spirit rushed in ways that I've never experienced before. I mean, just the amounts of peace and comfort and even joy in some really tough circumstances were just overwhelming. And from that moment on, I was able to walk with the Lord through a situation that actually got a lot worse in the weeks and months to follow. But I was able to really walk with Him because He was shouldering my burdens. And He didn't take the burden away. That was not what He promised me right away, at least, that He was going to take the burden away. But He did promise that He would be with me and He'd never leave us or forsake us. And we often refer to the Lord and the Holy Spirit as an anchor to our soul. But in this moment, He was like a shock absorber to my soul. The worse things got, the more He absorbed it. And it was just a beautiful season of watching Him work. So here I am a year later. And actually at my office right now, the business has bounced back. We've hired back hundreds of people, and we're thriving. And so I could share other testimonies on another day about how the Lord has brought that into existence and has really restored and rebuilt the business. But really my testimony is about in those dark moments of how the Lord showed up and carried the weight. And so I guess my ask and challenge of the church is, if you're feeling stuck, whether that be professionally or personally, and you don't feel like there's a way out, maybe you're feeling insecure, maybe you're having doubts about relationships, and you just don't see a way through, I just urge you to just get real with God. Lay it all at His feet. Because like I said earlier, He's promised us to never leave us or forsake us. And He wants to meet you in that, and He wants to do amazing things, and He wants to carry that burden for you. So be real. Maybe you believe it in your head. You just haven't really connected it to your heart. Be real with Him. Your crisis is not too big for Him, just like my crisis was not too big for Him. So love you, church. Thanks.